Good morning. It is Monday, May 26th. Just down at storage. It's a bit of a tight squeeze in here to retrieve parts for the 55 truck I picked up in trail. So for a few years, like 4 or 5, been packing these around. These are the 85 plus C4 knuckles. So if you ever have a Corvette C4 84, you can't get Wilwood brakes for the front of it. You have to get the 85 plus knuckles to do the brakes. So we had bought these when we did the customer's C4 front suspension install for him. He had a Mustang 2 suspension installed and then decided to go Corvette to match his rear Corvette suspension. And sorry, the lighting and storage is terrible. And he was planning to do the front brakes and then opted to wait for cost reasons at that time. So he's got Wilwood rears and not front. So we ended up just keeping the knuckles in stock because we weren't sure what was going to happen in the future. But now we've ordered up the brakes for him and picked up the truck. And then the other thing we're doing is we're going to add some room in the rear wheel wells inside the box, a lot like the 50 blue Chevy truck that we delivered last summer. Anyway, it was, you just add some wheel wells, even though it's a step side box, kind of like, say, this truck here. Yeah, you can see it in here. So you add a flare on the inside, or not a flare really, but an inner wheel well to make room to have the wide tires. So I have some fender wells like those here somewhere. I believe they're probably upstairs, and those are what we're going to use to start with anyway for this 55 truck as well. So somewhere up here, oh, there we go. There they are. So what we'll do is these are just some brand new 50 truck ones. We'll take these and we can cut them off if we only need a couple inches. Cut them off and move the flange in, and that'll give them his wheel tub without having to make all that metal. So it'll still be some work, but that'll save a ton of the work right there. So gonna load this stuff up and get to the shop. We'll see you there. Okay, just down at the hot rod shop here on Monday. They've got the truck pulled out of the trailer on Friday, so here it sits. So yeah, so right now we've got a spacer on the rear to get this small tire and wheel out, just to fill up the wheel well. He wants to run either a less spacer or no spacer and a bigger tire, and that's where we'll have to cut inside of here to give it some more width, because he is running the Corvette suspension in the rear. You should be able to see that suspension in the video. I drove it into the trailer. So he's got room in here. Just the only thing limiting him is the room from between the tire and the inside of the box. So we'll fix that all up. So that's good. Let's take a look around, see what else. We got this Corvette in that we did some, like a driver quality paint job on, I think 2 years ago. It's in for some runnability issues, I believe. So we'll have to check that out. And let's head over here and see what we got going on with the 40 Ford and the 38. He was working on that underlay and yeah, building panels. So he's got both these cars done in the same way. He was working on a bit of stereo stuff, just some basic stereo. So he's got some sound on it. I know he was working on that last week. And then Bernard's been working on the Buick McLaughlin. So we got the chrome in. So he's got the luggage rack. He kind of put it on opposite way around so it sits on an angle so you can kind of see the nice chrome. Unless you have a luggage box to put on there, it kind of looks better like that. And just other things starting to assemble, like they got spare tire hold downs, and the customer actually had these machined. He was missing them, so those had to get made and then chromed. And the light stanchions were completely rotted out. I think we've talked about those in previous videos. Those were made here actually at M&H Machinery and then sent out and got chromed. So as you can see, lots of chrome on here coming together, getting the headlights together, the other spare tire hold down. So yeah, it's coming together. And then I see we have that, it's a 73 Corvette, the 1 year where they had a 2-piece plastic rear bumper. I believe it's 73. Kind of neat. I don't know if I've ever seen one in person. Hopefully. Look, I'm pretty sure it's 73. Just somebody's been working on it here, getting it assembled. So that's pretty much about it over here in the hot rod shop for today. Of course, it's Monday. The guys don't work in the shop on Monday. Okay, just down in the automotive shop, Ashley's going to get working on the Bronco. So we got the kit here. It's just Zone product. It's actually a really nice looking upper control arm. We'll get it open up here in a second. And the reason we're going with this is because they're one of the only guys that make lift to go a couple more inches with the Wildtrak system, because it already has the Fox Haas system in it with the coilover with the reservoir. So we don't really want to change that out at this point. So we're going to try it out with this and get that couple of extra inches, and then be able to fit 37s, which should be on their way today. So that's where we're at. So Ashley's just going to unbox this stuff and we'll see what it looks like. These control arms are supposed to be pretty nice. So we'll see what it looks like here.
They're like the ones that were on the other Bronco. I'm expecting them to be quite nice.
Yeah, just Zone stuff is normally kind of the lower end of things.
Yeah.
But these arms actually, on paper or on the computer, look nicer than the rest of them. So
Are they the ball joint delete ones as well?
I'm not sure.
Grab it.
Yeah, that's a pretty hefty looking arm.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it is just a normal ball joint still, though.
Yeah. So the other ones that delete the ball joint to something different?
They're like encapsulated, like just non-serviceable kind of U-joint, and it's just like a solid ball. So it's like the break-in period's a little bit longer, but it is overall less wearable.
Yeah.
It's a little bit better for performance, but
I guess we'll see.
yeah. And I think with this style, you might be actually able to replace them, but either way.
Yeah, these are just good. Looks like a normal ball joint to me.
Yeah, it
so
is.
That's good.
It works.
And then this will just be spacers. So I believe we'll have to Google it, but I believe there's modifications we do to this frame horn.
Yep.
And then also back here, there's like this other mount that's just doing nothing. I'm not sure what it's for. It's literally got a bolt in it that goes nowhere. So I don't know if it's for add-ons or what, but yeah. Anyway, I know that can be an issue, but we'll have to see when we get my wheels with the offset. I think it's a plus 22 or something.
Yeah, so it does depend on offset and everything.
Yeah.
Could work, could not.
Yeah.
Worst case, we're just cutting a 2024 Bronco. That's fine.
Yeah, it's just metal. It can be welded back on, right? Yeah, so just literally
Top
spacers.
Spacers and back. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason it was tough to find a kit in a different name brand was because most of them, they slide a collar over the shock.
Yeah.
To add some of that lift, where those collars won't fit over these Fox shocks, I guess. So you'll have to look into, obviously, the destructions there and what's involved. But hopefully it's a direct kit.
Yeah, hopefully.
Like I said, it was the only one that I could find that said anything about with the Haas 3.0.
Yeah.
Which is what they call it. So I guess the arms don't matter, but it's that stuff that matters.
Yeah, it's probably a different design because it looks like they just go on the top of the struts like normal.
So. Okay, so the lift was here last week, so we thought we'd had time today for Ashley and John both maybe to work on this, because they're waiting for parts on a lot of vehicles here. So we thought, well, let's get the lift in for now. We can always put the tires and wheels on when they arrive. And today they arrived. So there's the 37s. I went with the Ridge Grapplers that I have on my truck. They've been great. So why not match what's on the truck? And then here's the wheels. I usually don't go with a funky wheel, but I thought with this green that a bronze would look cool. So let's get a wheel down here and take a look. Alright, yeah, that's a pretty cool looking wheel. Let's throw it up on the Bronco here and see what the offset looks like. Alright, there is a rim on the front just for looks. I think it's gonna look good. Goes with the green nicely. Yeah. And the offset looks like it should be pretty good. They're out They're not completely, of course it's steered a bit to the right, but they're not outside of the fender. So that's cool. All right, got that wheel just set on the rear. And yeah, same thing, it's just inside the fender. So with the tire bulge, it should be a perfect offset. And again, I think this green has a metallic in it that almost has like a gold tinge. If you look on the left side here in the sun, you can see that kind of bronzy tinge to it. So that's why I thought bronze was the choice of rim for this color. And it also goes with our logo's pretty good. And that was just by fluke as well. I think I might have talked about that when we put these on. We had a new sign company make these up for us, and the color they picked to try and match our shirts has like a green tinge to it. So it was like they meant to make it for this Bronco, but they were actually meant for just decals for people that we like sponsor and stuff. And we just threw some on here since we've been waiting for months to get sign companies to drop stuff for the Broncos, and I just did get some back last week, and it's not even close to what we had talked about, so still need to continue down the road on that one. But anyway, the wheels are going to look amazing on here, I believe. We will see.
Recording. I don't like that angle.
Job having done already, my phone's farting around.
I think also this has to come off. Oh, it's a little bit different than...
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, the 7th. There's one down here too.
Yeah.
That sucks to get to. I just did a ratcheting right
Well,
now.
wouldn't have sucked if these running boards weren't on here that we just put on. Yeah, but we should be able to just move this out of the way and get the liner out. Or not.
John's got the rear in, and Ashley's on to some retail work. And she's partway through adding the spacers basically into the Fox shocks for the front. And then that can go back together with the new control arms. Since we have mine off now, Chandel wants the all black wheels instead of the silver ring wheels. So we could just change the rings, but probably just as easy to change the whole wheel and tire package over. And these have like 1,000 kilometers and those have 13,000 K, so we may as well put the new ones on. She's gonna get the full black setup, which will look a lot nicer on there. The silver ring makes the wheel look really tiny, so these will definitely look a lot better. So we're gonna get that done. tail end of the lift kit install on this. Found something neat in here today. A little Easter egg like the Jeeps do. It says "Lift Me Baby" the inner fender wells. This one's a little crunched up because there's the wiring from the brake control in there, but you'll probably see it better on this side. There you go. That's funny. Do they have anything in the rear, or is it just the front?
I haven't actually looked.
I'll take a look in the rear. There's plastic in the rear. Doesn't look like it. They only had fun in the front. Wonder if you can see it from under the hood at all.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt it.
It's at the back. Yeah, I doubt you see
It
that.
would definitely be cool.
Yeah, that's funny. Those upper control arms look good in there.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's about where we're at with the Bronco. Just waiting for tire sensors so we can get the tires and wheels put together. And, yesterday we put the black wheels on Chandel's Bronco, made a huge difference. And we just have her stock ones with the silver rings sitting here. If we need to move it over and get the alignment done while we're waiting for tires and wheels to be mounted and balanced, we can just throw those on for now. But yeah, it's looking good. We got the lift and tires and all that done, and we have the Smittybilt tire carrier. They had it on, which bolts on where these hinges are and supports the whole tailgate right into the tire carrier. So online on their website, the first thing it says will work with OE bumpers if preferred, and then further down the list of things that it does or doesn't do, it says it supports up to 40-inch tire. So we're only doing a 37, so I thought, hey, perfect, let's upgrade it so we're not putting all that weight on these little pins and just on these 4 points at the tailgate. It ties it all into these 4 bolts as well and ties it all in nice and tight. So upon installation, Ashley had found that it doesn't lift or do anything with the factory tire mount other than it moves it out about 3/8 of an inch, the thickness of the bracket. The tires are a little wider than stock, not a lot because it came with 35s. And these are a +18 instead of the factory +40 offset. So it does come out a little further, but it hits the bumper and it hits the third tail light or third brake light. So they make a bracket to raise the third brake light, but nothing for the bumper. So we're gonna install it again, and then I'm gonna look at shimming out the spare tire, the factory spare tire holder, whatever we need on the bumper, and then I'll look at potentially ordering a rear bumper for it. Smittybilt obviously makes one that works with all that. It's just really frustrating that their advertising is terrible and says that it'll do what it can't do. It says fully adjustable. There's no adjustment at all other than adding a third brake light bracket. Doesn't tell you need that for the 40-inch tire, which again, these are 37s, so I have even more room, another 1.5 inches. So yeah, anyway, frustrating because we want this on the road. So Wheel Pros, who I bought the tires and wheels and everything from, are good. They're sending out the bracket today, even though we've missed cutoff for the third light, and we're gonna get this back together here shortly so I can see what I need to do to just space the tire out for now until I do get a different bumper, and go from there. I did think about whether a guy could the spare tire in the back, but I don't think there's enough room for a 37-inch tire because the back of the seat is right there and the tailgate's right there. And look at the tire size, there's just no room there other than taking up the whole area, because I do, other than what you have to cover up, I do like the no spare tire look. We will get that bracket and get that figured out.